Rams fans, the 2026 NFL preseason kicks off tonight. And on today's show, presented by Prize Picks. Guys, sign up for Prize Picks with code HMA. And when you play your first $5 lineup, you'll get $150 in bonus lineups. I want to break down 5 Rams who have the most to prove in the 2026 preseason. Obviously, we don't get our preseason going until next Saturday. We've got a little bit longer to wait. But football starts tonight, guys. Football is back tonight. If you are watching the day we are pushing this video out, it's probably just about ready to get kicked off, the Hall of Fame game between the Cardinals and the Panthers. Guys, if you are ready for our football to be back, this one's going to be, it's football, so it's fun to watch at least, even though it is the Cardinals and the Panthers, two pretty pathetic teams going head-to-head. If you're ready for football, though, give me a Rams house in the comment section of today's video. If you are as stoked as I am to get some real football played again, and not just training camp videos, we're finally going to see real football action tonight, man. That is something to get excited about, even if it is some third stringers who may never play again going head to head. But let's talk about a couple of guys that I think across our preseason have a lot to prove to themselves and to this Rams roster if they want to continue their development, and some guys earn spots on this roster. That's not the narrative for everybody that we're talking about, though, and it certainly isn't the narrative for our first guy up, Ty Simpson. His preseason, I think, is about 2 things: hitting development check marks and proving doubters wrong. And that part is really just for us as Rams fans. I think getting to finally see our first-round quarterback go out there and what he looks like in an NFL game, what he looks like in an NFL environment. Of course, it's preseason. Of course, it's not the full thing. But it's so much better than watching him in training camp action. It is so much better than watching mini camp windows and just speculating. Or even when we finally get to joint practices. We got a joint practice just around the corner against the Dallas Cowboys on the 11th of August. That'll be interesting to watch as well. But this first preseason game against the Kansas City Chiefs on August 15th is really our first chance to evaluate what Ty Simpson is going to be in this league. And that's valuable. It's incredibly, incredibly valuable. We just get one more data point on a guy we don't have a ton of data points on. Not at least as far as in-game football action goes. 15 games played at Alabama. Looked good in them. Really good. At times, you can see the moments in the high-level flashes of, man, this dude can be really, really special at Alabama. Man, this dude can go do things that other guys can't. He just has that kind of arm talent. He's that kind of elite thrower of the football in moments. And then there were other moments where he just wasn't that guy, where he didn't deliver at that level. But he's been improving every day in practice. He recently said he learned more in 4 months with Matthew Stafford than in 4 years at the college level. He's already taken huge steps. Dan Graziano, NFL insider who was out at camp, said the Rams believe Simpson has been practicing better in recent days, especially in the team's padded practices, which we've now been almost a week through, where they believe he's more likely to thrive because it feels more like real football to him. This kid's a gamer, man. He loves football so much. He hates the non-padded practices because it doesn't feel like real ball to him. Les Snead loves that kind of mentality. He loves the old school energy that he has. He's getting brought along probably in a healthy manner compared to a lot of rookie quarterbacks in this league, maybe at the old school pace. But I think it's been good getting to this point. I think as we get to 11 on 11, put on pads, that's probably where he comes to life in those settings. Guys, we're going to keep talking about Ty Simpson and what to expect from him in the preseason in just 1 second because I have high expectations. But before we do that, that, I've got to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, guys. America's #1 sports picks app, the good people over at Prize Picks. Guys, if you've ever tuned into the Rams Report or anything Chat Sports, I know you know all about Prize Picks, but if it's your first time watching with us, then it's time to cash in on your ball knowledge and turn some of the sports action you're already watching into a cash opportunity with our friends over at Prize Picks. Guys, the app is super easy to use. All you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stat projections, and you're locking in your lineup. And with the social feeds feature, you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. Guys, that includes me. My username on Prize Picks is Jackson Durham, which is just my first and my last name. So you guys can type that in, go see all the latest lineups I've put together, including this one, season-long projection on whole bunch of different stuff in there. You guys can tail, you can fade, whatever you do, just do it with our friends over at Prize Picks. And if you're a brand new user, make sure you take advantage of Prize Picks' new user offer. Play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. Prize Picks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. Wow, thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. As always, we appreciate them. Let's finish out our conversation on Ty Simpson here, because my expectation for the preseason is that he is going to get a ton of run. There is a world, a reality, I guess a possibility, in which he gets nearly every snap in the preseason. Because if you think back to last year, what did the Rams do in the preseason? Stafford did not play, but who else didn't play? Jimmy G. They sat Jimmy G. They felt comfortable with their backup quarterback and they didn't play him. There is a chance that if they feel really good about where Stetson is at, given everything we've heard this offseason, it's not impossible, given his development, that Ty Simpson takes every snap of the preseason, except for a few maybe which go to Matthew Caldwell if they feel really good about where Ty is at. That would be a fantastic way for this preseason to go. Give as many reps as possible to Ty, who needs them right now to continue his growth, who needs to continue growing and give us as much of an opportunity to evaluate him in a meaningful way as humanly possible. Next up, though, I think the depth group at receiver has a huge opportunity ahead of them coming into this. This is guys that Ty's going to be working with, guys maybe Stetson is going to be working with, maybe Matthew Caldwell a little bit as well, who knows exactly what the operation is going to be at quarterback. We know we're definitely going to see Ty. Who knows on the other two? But all of these guys should see some run as well. Jordan Whittington, questionably, maybe, depending on how good they feel about what he's done this offseason. It's possible Jay Witt will get a little bit of preseason run, maybe not a ton. Xavier Smith should be seeing a bunch of action in the preseason. Muttfield should be seeing a bunch of action in the preseason. And then you go down the rest of that list. CJ Daniels, Mario Williams, Tyler Scott, True Edwards. Those guys have opportunities here to fight for their roles, to fight for an opportunity to make this roster, for you go down to like Tyler Scott, Mario, and True, or to win that receiver 3 job for the guys at the top. And I think that's what's a little bit more pressing, right? At least as far as we go. We want to know who, if any of these 4 guys, is going to be the third option in this offense. Is it going to be one of them? Is it going to be done by committee by all 4 of them, which is absolutely possible with Terrence Ferguson playing a large role? Are all 4 of these guys going to be 200-yard receivers next season? Potentially, and that's a path to success for this Rams offense. But if any one of the 4 of them can stand out, then it could minimize the role of the other 3 and push them into a serious third candidate role where they have a lot more of that volume, where they get to kind of play that Demarcus Robinson role we saw D-Rob play just a couple of years ago alongside Matthew Stafford, where he was that complement option to Puka. Obviously, that was before Devontae Adams had arrived in Los Angeles. So there's a lot of different ways that this could go down, a lot of different roads that this could go down for this group of 4 guys. But the moral of the story is it's a huge opportunity in the preseason for all 4 of them to go out and show, I'm that guy who's capable of elevating this offense. Let's flip to the defensive side. Talk about Shaun Dolac, who I know has a ton of fans out there, and understandably so. Dolac has had a really, really good run so far in Los Angeles as far as an undrafted free agent goes. He continues to impress people. He continues to stand out to this coaching staff since arriving from Buffalo. And I think this season could be a year for him where he continues that upward trajectory as an option behind Omar Speights. Because right now, and I just noticed Troy Reeder is still on that depth chart. That's going to piss a lot of people off because Reeder should not be there, guys. That is my fault. I need to delete him. All right. Okay. Troy Reeder, let's ignore it. Pretend he isn't there. Shaun Dolac. Let's say Shaun Dolac. I truly think he can have a chance if what we've seen in the preseason, or not in the preseason, excuse me, if what we've seen in the training camp window so far continues to hold. He's been rotating in with the ones a little bit. He hasn't been playing all his snaps with the ones, primarily with the twos, but we've seen him rotate in with the ones a little bit. We know from last season that there's opportunity for improvement for this inside linebacker group, and that the Rams are not a team that's really going to be splashy with this group either. They're going to try to get it done in the bargain bin. They're going to try to find ways to, kind of avoid high cost here. And Shaun Dolac is a perfect solution for this Rams ethos if he can show himself to be good enough to break into this rotation. At the end of the day, Omar Speights just wasn't delivering towards the end of the year. He's had some flashes himself in training camp, but I like what we've seen from Dolac over the last couple practices. He was getting in on a pressure rep. He got a sack, in quotation marks, of Ty Simpson. Obviously, they don't really hit the quarterback, but he forced the play to stop. And again, just good stuff from him. We've seen better stuff in pass coverage. He's going to be heavily involved on a special teams unit that we'll talk about later on today's show as well. A lot of opportunity for Shaun Dolac to stand out for this Rams team in 2026. Two more guys that I want to talk about, or groups that I want to talk about, coming up in just 1 second for you here, guys. But before we get to all that, I got to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is SeatGeek, my number one way to get all of my tickets to live events. Guys, the best thing to do when the weather gets hot like this is get out to a live event. But the thing that always stops me from doing so is spending an arm and a leg to do so, or at least that was the case until SeatGeek came in my life and totally changed my ticket buying experience. Guys, I know when I use SeatGeek that not only is the experience going to be incredibly seamless, incredibly easy to navigate. I'm going to go to the Los Angeles Rams ticket page if I'm looking for Rams tickets. I can very easily sort through all of the games available, whether it's a preseason option or a regular season option. I know that they're going to have me covered. And once I've found the game that I'm interested in going to, every ticket is ranked on a scale of 1 to 10. So if I was going to go out to this New York Giants game, the home opener at SoFi, I can find my ticket pretty quickly by sorting by best deals. And then once I've selected my ticket, I can then go in and take a look at a couple other things here, guys. You see those green dots? Those are all good deals. And then I can also look at the seat view as well. Every seat on SeatGeek comes with its own custom seat view that allows you to see exactly what it's going to look like when you get into the stadium. And so you know exactly what your seat will be like before you buy. Speaking of buying, make sure you save a little bit of extra money by using code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets, guys. That's 10% off any tickets with my promo code CHAT10, even if it's not your first time using SeatGeek. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek, for sponsoring today's video. Let's talk now about Jarquez Hunter a little bit. An interesting narrative, I think, around this Rams team over the last 2 years, I guess. I should really say 2 years has it been since we've drafted him about. 2025, fourth-round pick. Yep, just over 2 years. Or no, not just over 2 years, just under 2 years since we drafted Jarquez Hunter. Coming into year 2 for him, it's an interesting situation because it just hasn't been, I think, to the standard that Rams fans were hoping for. But at the same time, does it not kind of remind you of Blake Corum a little bit? At the same time as we're all kind of a little disappointed with what we've seen from Hunter, is there not a little bit of this that's kind of reminiscent of what Blake Corum went through, where he wasn't involved at all his first season? Kyren Williams even? Go back to that. What did Kyren Williams do in his rookie year? Whole lot of nothing. What did Blake Corum do in his rookie year? Whole lot of nothing. Jarquez Hunter, his rookie year, also a whole lot of nothing. But there's a chance to break into this rotation. And it won't be anywhere near what like what it was for Blake Corum last season, where we saw Blake Corum just ascend and become, immediately like one of the best two backs in the entire NFL, and that was just very apparent. Like, there's not enough opportunity for that to happen for Hunter this season. Like, we got to be realistic about these things. But there is an opportunity for him to have a role in this offense that isn't just 0 snaps and 0 carries, but he's going to have to be a little bit better in the preseason. Last year, he was inconsistent. 33 carries, 110 yards, averaged just over 3 yards per carry, did find his way into the end zone, but he forced 7 missed tackles. Just, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't incredible work either from Hunter at the end of the day in the preseason. I'm looking for something a little bit more explosive this year. I would love to see Hunter. And what he did so well at Auburn was make guys miss in a phone booth. I want to see that come back a little bit. We saw it in one game, he had 6 of those 7 missed tackles forced, but in the other 2, he only had 1. So I want to see consistently Hunter have that ability to make guys miss, because I think that's something that you could see involved as far as like a pass catching back out of the backfield. He has that receiving ability as well. Maybe he even offers you some special teams value this season, which we're going to talk about more in a second. But I think there's opportunity for Hunter. He's just got to go out and seize it in the preseason this year. Next, and finish this thing with maybe a surprise. I think Bubba Ventrone has a lot to prove in the preseason as well. I think one of the underrated concerns for this Rams team, you go back to last year, what went wrong? Defense, yeah, definitely the defense went wrong at times for this team. We all know that. What did we do against JSN in the postseason last year? Not much. What did you do against JSN in Week 16 last year? Not much. Got cooked. Secondary wasn't good enough. Pass rush at times wasn't good enough. But you know what else wasn't good enough? Special teams, guys. And there's 3 phases to football. Offense and defense get all the love, all the attention, but special teams is the 3rd phase of football. At the end of the day, it doesn't make up a clean, even 33% of things, but it is incredibly important, and you can't leave it behind. You can't just look at our offense, which is so damn good, look at our offense or defense, which is projecting to be so damn good, and forget that we were one of the worst teams in the NFL in the 3rd phase of football last season, special teams. So that's where Bubba Ventrone comes in, hopefully. That's where Bubba Ventrone comes in from Indianapolis to redirect things on this. But I'm not going to lie, guys. Something Bubba said recently didn't give me a lot of confidence. He talked about returner options, and he said, yeah, I think we have a lot of options back there. I think Xavier is going to keep developing. We're going to keep training him. I think Kyron is an option. We have a number of ball handlers on the roster. We're just going to keep getting those guys opportunities. I think obviously competition brings out the best in everybody, so we're going to get guys opportunities, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when we use our starting running back as a punt returner? No! What? Like, I tweeted about this when it was said, and this was a couple days ago. But my tweet, if I remember correctly, was something along the lines of, let's be serious when we discuss things like this. Let's not say things that are like completely ridiculous, because I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Bubba Ventrone, but like, unless you're suggesting that our entire punt return operation is going to consist of Kyron Williams fair catching every single punt, which that's not a good plan. Let me be clear. That is a bad plan. That is a plan that gets you pinned in a lot of the time. Anytime teams have a good punter who can accurately pin you in, if all you're going to do is fair catch it and they know that, you're screwed, buddy. Don't do that. That's a horrendous plan, and teams will take advantage of it. And again, it's a plan that underrates the importance of special teams. If your idea is, let's just not attempt punt returning whatsoever because we don't trust anybody on our roster to do it, no, go find somebody. There's opportunities in free agency. There's guys on the couch that can return punts, and maybe they're not Devin Hester. I'm not saying we're going to go find Devin Hester on the couch somewhere, but I am saying you can do something better than just fair catching every single time with your starting running back out there. All it's going to take is one jackass who interferes on a fair catch to slam into Kyron Williams and get him hurt. And that's our starting running back, who we all know offers a ton of value to this team. You cannot just trust that, oh, if we just have him fair catch every time, he's going to be fine. No. Punt return is one of the most dangerous things you can do in the game of football. You've got 11 guys running at you at full speed trying to take your damn head off. Like, I don't want our starting running back in that position. That's not what other teams do for very good reason. It's just not a good strategy at all. And if that's the other best option behind Xavier Smith, then what I'm hearing is we don't really have any good options outside of Xavier Smith. So then it comes down to Xavier Smith needs to get better at this, or you need to go find somebody else who can. And that's what I want to see from Bubba Ventrone. Is Xavier Smith improving as far as punt return duty goes, or are we finding some dark horse candidate to do this? Please don't tell me the answer is number 23, because that, as we've just discussed, is not an answer. Guys, it just is not. You cannot stick Kyron on punt return duty. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Guys, if you made it to the end, I want you to comment real one for me so I know which real ones watched the entirety of today's video and made it to the end and are fired up for Rams football to return. Let me hear from you, Ramily. As always, we appreciate your time. Thank you for spending some of it with us today, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.